Hey guys, it's Troy. Welcome to another episode. Why self-respect is the most seductive currency. Why self-respect is the most seductive currency. Okay, self-respect is the highest aspiration that you can have as a man. It's the most important thing that you can have, not just for dating, but for any aspect of your life. But obviously we're concentrating on dating here. Self-respect is the non-negotiable. Okay, people talk about all this stuff. People talk about looks, they talk about height, they talk about how jacked you are, all of these different things. What gets talked about less, but what is arguably the most important thing, is self-respect. Because if you don't have self-respect, then you can be damn sure that nobody else is going to have it for you. Okay, you have to respect yourself first, and moreover, you have to protect that self-respect with an iron fist in the velvet glove, okay? Because people will try to chip away at it, all right? And I've seen this in friendship groups, I've seen this in work situations, I've seen this in professional situations, and I've seen this in relationships, okay? Your self-respect should be sovereign. Your self-respect should be non-negotiable, okay? And if somebody tries to fuck with that, then you have to deal with that. You have to take action. And the action is usually removing yourself from the situation. It might be having a conversation with them, it might be trying to renegotiate the terms, but in the end it might, sadly, be having to remove yourself from the situation, because self-respect, as I say, is the most important thing for you, and also for the way they perceive you, the way the other party perceives you. Because if you have self-respect, and self-respect also means boundaries, okay? Self-respect means boundaries. So you've got to have the self-respect, all right? And then you've got to have the boundaries around it. And you've got to be prepared to defend those boundaries. And if you don't, or if you show weakness or wavering around that, then it's not only your self-respect that's eroded, but it's their respect for you. And remember that love is founded in respect, and when respect goes, then love also withers on the vine. That's just the way it is, okay? So when I talk about self-respect, what do I mean? Well, we're all in different phases in life. We're all in different phases of self-development, okay? There are things that all of us, without exception, could probably improve, okay? I mean, there are influencers, famous influencers, who are, very jacked, in great shape, blah, 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 and yet they post videos every day of themselves in the gym, working out, sweating it out, doing even more work, to get even better, to get in even better shape, or at least to at least maintain, but to attain even higher heights, right? All of us. Self-improvement is a lifelong journey, okay? Self-improvement is a lifelong journey. It's not a one and done thing. It's not like, all right, I've been to the gym for 3 months, I've read a few books, I can leave it now and relax. It doesn't work like that. You've got to be doing this stuff all the time, every day, until you die. And you never reach the plateau. You never reach the pinnacle, right? You can plateau, but you never reach the pinnacle, because the pinnacle doesn't exist, because there's always further that we can take it. There's always further we can go. But if you're actively doing that stuff, okay, if, say you were a little bit overweight and you think, I need to lose a few pounds, okay, fine. But if you're actually working on that and doing that, you could give yourself massive kudos for that. Yeah, okay, you're still a little bit overweight, but you're doing something about it, you're working on it, right? That's amazing, that's brilliant, okay? So you have self-respect for that. And then if you find yourself in a relationship or a situation where somebody is subtly undermining you because of the weight issue, that's toxic, okay? And that's something you need to walk away from, because your self-respect then is being eroded, because you're doing your best, okay? You're doing your best, you're doing what you can. I'm assuming you are here, but let's assume you are working on this. You're working on this on a daily basis. You're doing what you can. And somebody else is subtly trying to undermine that. that's a hit at your self-respect, but it's also a hit at you as a person, okay? And that is something that can't be tolerated, that is not sustainable long term, okay? So you might start off by having a conversation. You might say, look, I'm working on this. I'd appreciate it if you didn't, you know, make those kind of jokes, if you didn't say those kinds of things. You could do that a few times if you want. But in the end, if the person persists, you have to remove yourself, because self-respect is the sovereign currency. And ultimately, it's the most attractive currency, because people are drawn to strength. And self-respect is a signal of strength, okay? And if you have it, people like it. People are bought into that. Even if they don't particularly like you, even if they don't particularly like what you stand for, even if they don't particularly like what you're working on or your attitude to life, if you have self-respect that is unshakable, then that in itself is admirable and it's attractive, okay? So you've got to cultivate it and you've got to guard it with your life. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this one. Please do give me a like, give me a comment, subscribe to the channels if you haven't already. If you're interested in coaching, drop me an email, troy@realtroyfrancis.com, email below. I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye-bye.